Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we are going to discuss about how we can log in into a Linux EC2 instance or how we can SSH into a Linux EC2 instance. So there are three different ways possible. One is using the EC2 instance connect, which I can say is one of the easiest way of performing an SSH because irrespective of operating system which you are making use of, you can directly connect to the EC2 instance because it provides this feature from console itself. And the second way of doing an SSH is using a command prompt, but there are limits for this. So if you are making use of the Mac, Linux, and the Windows operating system over a version 10, then you can directly SSH into a Linux EC2 instance using a command prompt. And third way of doing an SSH is a Putty. So Putty is one of the software which allow us to SSH into a Linux instances. And for this, we need to install two different softwares. One is Putty and the Putty Gen. So we will discuss about this ways in a sequential manner in later part of this video. So please stay tuned. As in our previous video, we have created one Linux EC2 instance, Amazon Linux EC2 instance with the configuration of t2.micro instance class. Also, we have added a one security group which allow us to SSH into this EC2 instance from any computer because it allows all the IPs on the port number 22. But the condition here is that a person who want to SSH into this instance should have the PAM file generated, which is a key value file generated. Now let's quickly SSH into this instance using a EC2 instance connect, which is our first way of doing it. So for this, over a console itself, you can find this connect button. You can click on it. And once you click on it, you can get this EC2 instance connect option out here. And for this, you just need to simply click on connect option. And that's it. It will allow you to establish a connection with your EC2 instance or a console itself. That's why you don't need any operating system support here. Irrespective of operating system you are making use of, you can directly get into this instance. So suppose if I run a command, who am I? So it will say I'm an EC2 user, which is a by default user for this EC2 instance. And if any command if you want to run, because this is just an Linux console and you can play around it. Now, second way of doing an SSH is directly from the command prompt. But as I mentioned, this require a support of the operating system. So if you are making use of the Mac, Linux, or the Windows operating system over a version 10, then you can follow along these steps also. So for this, you need to first open a command prompt in your system. So I'm making use of the Windows 10. So that's why I'm able to do it. So you can open a command prompt out here. And now you need to, like, what I prefer is to get into the folder where the PAM file is saved. So I have already saved this PAM file under a login folder in my desktop. So I'm here. And for this, you need to just write a command ssh-i, and the PAM file which you have. I'm having a PAM file as demo key.pam, and along with which user you are by using which user you want to make SSH. So here we are having the by default user EC2-user at the rate the public IP of this instance. So let me first go over the console itself and find out the public IP of this instance. So here I am having the public IP. I copied it and I just paste it here. And that's it. I just need to give a confirmation as yes. And I'm into that EC2 instance again. So again, you can play around it. And this is the second way of logging into the EC2 instance from a command prompt. Now, the third way of doing it is using a Putty. So you need to install a software named as the Putty and the Putty Gen. So you can find out those software link in my description below. So you will get this kind of web page out here by clicking on that link. So you need to install putty.exe based on the version of the operating system you are making use of, along with the PuttyGen. So the PuttyGen will help us to create a PAM file and generate an RSA token against it with a PPK extension. And once you have downloaded these two softwares, you can directly get into the location where the softwares are downloaded. You can click on one of them. The first one you need to click on is PuttyGen, and you need to generate a key. For this, click on load and click on the folder where you have saved your PAM file. For me, it's in the login folder. and here you need to just check all files, and you can get into the into this folder and select the PAM file out here. Once this is selected, we need to save the private key against it with the type of key to generate is RSA. So we need to save a private key, and you just need to click the yes option after this warning is showing on your screen, because this just asking for if you want to if you want to use a passphrase to protect this key, but as of now I don't want to use it, so I'm just going it without this. I'm just using yes, and now I'm just making it as demo, and it will going to save as demo.ppk. So once this is done, you just need to close this putty gen, and here now we are having our ppk file. Now you need to click over a putty, and once you are in the putty, it is asking for the host name. So for the host name, you need to again paste the public IP out here. So I have copied the public IP from the console. I want to do a SSH. That's why the connection type is SSH, and the SSH is generally open on the port number 22. Now you need to go inside the connection, and within it there is a data. You need to type here the login username. So in our case, the by default username is EC2-user. So I have just typed it, and under the SSH, you will get the auth. Within a auth, you need to just open it. Within a auth, you need to get into the credentials. Within this, you will get the private key file for authentication. You need to just browse it from this, just ppk out here. So the three things you need to do. First, you need to get under a session. You need to type the host name, that is the IP of your EC2 instance, and you need to choose a connection type as SSH. And within a connection, you need to get into the data. You need to type the user login name, like login username, which is in our case is EC2-user. You need to get into the auth. Within auth, you will find out the credentials, and within the credentials, you need to select a private key file which you have generated using a putty gen. So once all this is done, you can also save this particular configurations for the future use case. So in this case, I'm going to save it as demo login, and you can save it. So this demo login is created. So now I can directly click on open. So I'm just accepting. And once I have accepted this, it has opened again an EC2 instance, which we have created using an AWS EC2 service. Again, you can play around it because this is again just an Linux console. So that's it. These are the three different ways you can use based on the configurations of the system you are making use of. If it is not allowing you to directly SSH using a command prompt, you can either go with the putty, or the best option is to go with the console login using the EC2 Instance Connect, because this is the most simplest way of doing it, and you don't need to depend upon the operating system also in that case. So that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. And if you find it useful, please do like and subscribe to this channel for more such informational video in future.